All right, so today we are trying to discuss y-intercept, okay? And so we know that m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. You are more than welcome to take down any of these notes. I'm not going to copy down everything I talk about, but we'll go through it. So it says slope is -2 and y-intercept is 5. So if we were writing this in slope-intercept form, what it would look like, I'm going to turn these lights off just to get a little bit better vision on the recordings. Yeah, cool. So right here it says slope is -2 and y-intercept is 5. So in slope-intercept form, it would look like this. Are we okay with that? Okay? This is my slope. This is my y-intercept. Over here, can somebody put number 2 in the slope-intercept form for me? Charger, go for it.
Y equals 3/4 x plus -3.
Do we agree?
Yes.
Could you have also just written -3?
Yeah.
Same thing. Okay, now it says what is the equation of the line in slope-intercept form? So it's asking for the slope, the y-intercept, and the equation. So what we just did up here, we just have to figure it out on our own now. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to figure out what is the slope of these points. Now, you have 3 options for this. You can do rise over run, you can plug it into the calculator, or you can use the slope formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We're all okay with that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to literally do rise over run. Is this a positive or a negative line?
Positive.
Okay, so I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3. And so my slope is going to be 4 over 3. Does anybody have any questions or any objections to what I just did there? Okay, y-intercept. What does y-intercept mean, Evan? Do you remember?
Means like basically what it sounds like.
Yeah. It's where we intercept the y-axis. He's not wrong. It's where we intercept the y-axis, which is this point right here. Thanks, Evan. Okay? So this is 0, -5. That's the ordered pair here. What do you think we're going to call the y-intercept, though? -5, right? Because I'm crossing the y-axis at -5. Are we okay there? So if I were to write this equation out, it's going to be y equals 4 over 3 minus 5. Y equals 4 over 3 minus 5. Are we okay with that step?
Yes.
Let's go to the next one. Positive or negative line?
Negative.
Negative line, right? Okay. Just for practice, let's actually do the slope formula on this one. Actually, no, we'll just do the normal way. Save time. We're going to go down 1, 2. So I have a -2 here. I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4. So I now have a -2 over 4. What's wrong with that as my slope, though? Addison?
It needs to be simplified.
It needs to be simplified, which can be simplified to -1 over 2. Any objections to that for my slope?
No.
Okay? My y-intercept is at what point? 0, 1, right? So therefore, what is the y-intercept of this problem? 1. So to write this, it's going to be y equals -1 over 2x plus 1. Are we okay there? Okay, keep moving. Okay, so the second page, 5 and 6 are the exact same thing. I'm going to move past them so that I can cover all of the notes. Are we okay with that? This next part, it says write the equation for the slope given a table. Now, notice for this particular table, we cannot find slope by doing rise over run. However, you have 2 different methods to do it. You can use the first method that we taught you yesterday, which is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Everybody okay with that? And so in order to do that, it doesn't matter which ordered pairs that we choose. So I'm going to call this 1 and this 2. We good there? So to plug this in, I'm going to have -1 minus a -3. What happens when I have minus a negative? It becomes plus. And then I'm going to have -1 minus a -2. Are we all good there? So when I do this, it ends up being a positive 2 over 1, which is just 2. Peyton.
You want us to simplify this into 2 over 1?
I do. I think that would be a good practice to get into. When you have a number over 1, go ahead and simplify that down to whatever number it is over 1. Carter.
So how do we find the y-intercept on that?
We'll get there. We'll get there. I promise we'll get there. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to try to find the slope of this table using the calculator, just for some practice. Try finding the slope of that table using the calculator. So again, I'll give you kind of a starting point. You're going to hit Stat, Edit. In order to clear them out, if it hasn't already, you just have to go up to the top numbers, the L1 and the L2, Brian, and hit Clear, and it'll erase the entire row. How many points do you have to find slope? 2. So you do not have to put in this entire table. If Luke decides he wants to because he's an overachiever, he can, but he only has to put in 2 of them. To clear it out, you go to the top, you highlight the L1 and the L2, and you hit backspace, and then it'll totally wipe it all out for you. Yes, Steven?
The slope?
Oh, you have the answer?
Yeah.
All right, hang tight. Let me give them a second to fill it in, and then we'll talk about it, okay? Yep, the L1 is your X, and the L2 is your Y. Again, you're just practicing this right now.
And then how do we find it in here?
Then you're going to hit Stat again. Go over to the right where it says Calc. Go down to 4 that says Lin Reg. Then go down to Calculate, and it'll populate it for you. Stephen, what'd you get? Yeah, so it gives you negative 0.5 on the calculator, but I told you no decimals. So the correct answer is going to be negative 1 over 2. Are we okay there?
I get it wrong. Nice, man.
What did you do wrong?
I put negative 2 in 1, and L1 and 4, negative 3.5.
2 points. 3.4.
Sorry.
Did you put the wrong number in? In the L1 column, you put negative 2 and negative 1.
Oh, no, positive 1.
Okay, well, it's a negative 1. So that's the difference. Okay? All right, now, Carter asked a second ago, how do you find the y-intercept? Well, it gives you the y-intercept in that spot. So let's move on a little bit to this next section. Okay, here it says the y-intercept is when x is equal to what? Does anybody know? Anybody take an educated guess here? What is the x for every single y-intercept no matter what? JT? 0. 0. Every single time you cross the y-intercept, your x value is going to be 0. Every single time. Every time you have a y-intercept, the x value is going to be 0. Every single time. So if I look at this table, if x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 1, what's my y-intercept? 1. X is equal to 0, y is equal to 3, what's my y-intercept?
3.
X is equal to 0, y is equal to? Okay, well that's all well and good, right? That's all well and good, unless I give you a table that doesn't have that. If I give you a table that doesn't have an x value of 0, you're kind of in a tough spot. So here it says, what should you do if 0 is not on the table? Well, here's option number 1. You put it in your calculator. I just explained that to you, right? That's option number 1. Here's option number 2. We're going to find the slope. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. Without using the calculator, I don't want the calculator on this one. I want you to do this one mathematically. Find the slope of this table. Find the slope of this table. Luke, what'd you get? 4/1. Everybody else get 4/1. If you're still working on it, take your time. We're not trying to rush you. Just trying to get you out in a timely manner. I got 4 as well. We're okay there? Now, does anybody remember what the slope-intercept form is? Anybody remember what the slope-intercept form is, Stephen? Y equals mx plus b. Are we okay with that? Y equals mx plus b. Okay, now, what we're trying to do, we're trying to solve for our y-intercept. Can everybody agree with me on that? Okay? Do we agree that all of these points are on the line? Okay, is everybody okay with that? So you agree that this is an x and this is a y value. So watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to replace y with 11 because y is a point on my graph. Are we okay with that? What am I going to replace m with? A 4, because we just found m was equal to 4. What do you think I'm going to replace x with? y1. It's the x value when y is 11. And do I know what b is? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's a two-step equation. Can you solve that two-step equation? Well, let's see. What's 4 times 1? So now I've got 11 is equal to 4 plus b. How do I get b by itself? Subtract 4. 7 is equal to b. Because what's your y-intercept of this graph is? 7. Okay, now let me blow your mind even further. Let me just confirm this, okay? Go to your slope and put these first 2 points in right here. Go to your slope and put these first 2 points in for me. Like in the calculator, like the stat, L1, L2. Can anybody confirm that b is equal to 7 once you put those 2 points in? Did it work out? Did it work out? All right, hey, because you guys have done so fantastic, no homework tonight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move tonight's homework to tomorrow. If you would like to attempt it tonight, go for it. Hear me out. If you would like to attempt tonight's homework tonight, you can, but I'm going to move it till tomorrow. I think we did really good, but there's a couple more things I want to finish. I think you have the skills, but I don't feel like it's fair for me just to give it to you when I have to end class because of time. Does that make sense? Homework can be done tonight, but I'm also going to extend it through tomorrow. Do you understand? All right. Hey, that's all I got time. The bell's going to ring in a minute.